Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. A little bit of drama before the show started. For some reason, YouTube didn't want to get its ass in gear, so I had to do a little diagnostics. So if it was 4 or 5 seconds late, it was YouTube's fault. I had nothing to do with it. But all I did was copy the... Yeah, I copied the link over, and boom, it worked. It was exactly the same link that was already in there, but maybe there was a space or something, and I didn't notice it from last week or something.
Yeah, that could be it.
Everything's...
Those spaces do fuck up a lot of...
Damn those spaces!
Yeah.
Apparently everything's okay now, though, so we're all good.
Yeah, well, it seems to be fine on YouTube.
Excellent. How you doing, Terry?
I am doing well. I found something that I had wanted to find for a very long time, and I finally found somewhere that does it. So there's a Pokemon Battle Simulator. I finally found a way I can play against AI instead of against other people. And so now
now it's technically a single-player game now, right?
Yeah. Not only is it good that I don't have to deal with other people, but it also means I don't have to have the delay of finding an opponent.
Right.
Like, if I want to try some obscure format that, like, 3 people in the world care enough about to actually try, I'll never find a game, whereas I can just challenge the bot and it'll do it fine. So I am happy. I've spent all morning reading about and playing Pokemon.
Sweet. How you doing, Jen?
I'm good, but I'm gonna get this out of my head, mostly because you said Pokemon again, and I shared the stream, and sure enough, Twitter's like, Pika-me, and Mash is in the stream, and I don't know if she's ever watched the VTubers. I certainly don't. I've only just discovered them lately because of the bullying and shit, and I'm always anti-bullying. In my own way, I try not to be a bully. I know I probably am to some people, but I try not to be. But like some of the stuff I was seeing, I'm like, yeah, it's typical vile people on the internet, which I avoid that stuff because you can. Sometimes it's difficult because those guys are freaking slippery. Those sneaky, dirty, creepy freaks on the end of Twitter that probably are the scum that came from Tumblr. But all the same, yeah, she's quit her Twitch days, and I feel for her because she had a pretty good run. Like, she had like almost 617,000 subscribers on the Twitch.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a huge loss to somebody who's built probably a platform for a while. That sounds like something somebody did for a while. And you know, she's half Japanese, half American, and she was bullied in Japan, and you know, thought that the Americans were a little bit nicer, and you know, she got bullied here too, but you know, she thought they were still a little bit nicer, and sure enough, she builds a nice platform, and good God, if this community of bullies haven't crossed the line, because I don't think they know. They tipped the scales a little bit too far. There's one thing that they don't understand. There's one thing where Japan will be a little bit weird. Like, when they can...
One?
Like, I'm just saying, Japan has this weird thing. Like, they'll side with you to a certain point, but then when they see you in such a gross error, don't fuck with the anime community. Listen, the anime community has LGBT. They've had LGBT for longer than you've been around. They've had trannies for longer than you've been around. But the thing they don't like is bullying.
Talk person says he sent something on Rumble. I don't know if that's a chat or a donation or what. But just
it can't be a donation because I set it up so you can't donate to it anymore.
Okay, good.
No, you probably just sent something in Rumble chat. I don't actually have Rumble chat up on my screen. I probably could do it. Now that the show started, I could probably bring up Rumble chat.
Well, yes, but I bully Batman all the time. But Batman is an old Brit who can handle his own. And in all honesty, he runs circles around me sometimes. But I don't know the age of some of these girls, but some of them sound fairly young. And I know it's probably the part of me that's never had children that prickles when I think of younger people being bullied.
I've got bad news for you, Hammer. It is a donation. It's a $1 donation from Tall Person that says, Test Rant, Happy National Dadgum That's Good Day.
when you start
So,
up a stream on Rumble, it says, do you want to do it like you would if you're on YouTube, or do you want to do it where you can't donate? It's left and right. That's how it looks on the screen. Two big blocks. And the first one I did, I clicked on the left one. And was it Cynic or
Cryptic was the one
Cryptic.
who donated last time.
Cryptic, right.
So
And then this time I was like, okay, well, I won't pick that option. I'll go over here and pick this option instead. But apparently, I guess you can donate either one. As far as I could tell, you can't stop it, if that's true.
Seems to be that.
There doesn't seem to be a
no
setting
stopping it.
anywhere in Rumble as an overall setting that says that you cannot do it. So the only time I see an option is when you're actually starting the stream. You can pick one or the other, but I appreciate you doing that, Paul Person. Thanks for the super chat or the Rumble rant.
So Tall, I can kind of answer a little bit of that. So in terms of the trans community, you're not going to see a lot of them speaking out because they're afraid of being bullied too. But I do know of a few who have, and it's usually the same people. Like Blair certainly has. Theron. I haven't watched her in years. I honestly haven't since the Trump era. But
I can't even remember the last time I saw a Theron Maya video.
But she spoke out against it. I think a few of the most common trans people on the YouTubes who talk out on this stuff have. But in terms of the majority of them, no, they're not going to, because like I said, I think they're afraid to. The ones that have, though, are trying to claim that these people aren't. They tried to shift the blame on the right, like, oh, these people are on the right. I'm like, no. Some of them might even be trans themselves, because you can't just assume that every trans person can't be a bully.
No. I've been told that oppression only works. It's a one-way street. The oppressed cannot be the oppressors. Therefore, no trans people have ever done anything wrong.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. It's the same. Black people have never done anything wrong unless they're conservative, in which case they're Uncle Toms.
Hey, I'm not going to throw them under the bus either. Like, you don't like this game, you don't like J.K. Rowling, that's fine, but move on with your life, because in all honesty, all you've really done is make your own community look bad, and it doesn't affect. In all honesty, it's not going to affect my trans friends, because I don't think Harry Potter has ever affected my trans friends, because it's a child's book. Like it was entertaining when they were growing up, and that's pretty much it. Some of them I think have even started playing the game. I can't speak. Like Eve is probably the only one I don't know who's like. I know she's not, because she has a job. Right. Some people have to work for a living, and they can't spend all day online. And I'm not throwing, right. But real life happens to a lot of people, so they don't have time to do the things they'd like to do. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the trans community are already playing the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of them wouldn't have loved to have streamed it. But because of these assholes and the fear of being outed for not agreeing with everybody on something that not everybody would agree on in the first place, because they don't. I've asked.
I mean, if I streamed games and I liked Harry Potter, I would 100% be streaming the game. Mm-hmm. It's just that, one, I don't give the slightest shit about Harry Potter, and two, I don't live stream video games, so I won't. But if I was like into Harry Potter, I would be streaming the hell out of that game just to piss people off.
I mean, Monkey's enjoying it. I mean, he kind of does anyway, because he grew up with it with his kids too. So he remembers books that he liked better. He remembers movies that he liked better. He's enjoying the game a lot.
See, I've read none of the books, but I've seen the very first movie, and I saw that movie under protest because my brother wanted to see it, and my mum said, "Terry, take your brother to the movies." So I was more of an sort of, a guardian than a willing participant of the movie. So I may have gone in with slight bias against it beforehand.
But by the way, Tall, I'm not saying that you haven't. I'm only mentioning people who have, because the thing is you're not wrong. This small community has a ridiculously large voice, and that's why I'd like to prop up other ones a little bit more. Now, is Blair necessarily the one I want to prop up all the time? Sometimes because I think she's pretty. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit biased. I think she's pretty. I think she's amazing. But I do want to seek out more trans people like her, and maybe she should recommend people, I don't know. I'm still going to watch you, Blair, but maybe recommend people, because I think the idea would be to prop up other voices like yours so that we could start evening out the conversation. Because if one group of people is talking so loud all the time, that's what people are hearing.
Yes.
But I don't want to be obnoxious with it, and we have other things to talk about. I only wanted to bring it up because I did feel bad for this little girl. Like, she sounded adorable. She does this thing where she goes between Japanese and English, and absolute anime woo woo shit. I'm like, oh my god, if I was still into that kind of stuff, my heart melted. I'm like, I can't do that anymore. I'm in my 40s, dear.
I just don't understand why she didn't just take steps. Why did she just go to the worst possible solution and quit? Why not just limit it to subscribers, or take steps? Why just blow it off?
I'm not sure if there was other reasons. Like, if she was under a contract with a company, I'm not sure if it has to do with she is still Japanese.
Well, that would be even worse. If she's under contract and quits, that's even worse than just limiting the chat.
So I don't know. I really don't know what was going on with her, but I think people will probably keep talking to her. Like, she hasn't closed down the line of communication. I think she's just limited it now because fear of people is a thing. If you were already afraid of people, you built up enough courage to go out in the world and meet people again. And well, yeah, you're scared of them again. She might need baby steps.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I you know what? Lady who's probably never going to watch us, I'm wishing you well anyway. Like, you do your thing, you'll be okay. Maybe you start again or something. But she had a huge following, and yeah, like I said, they're not going to have a good time with this. But I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the trans community. They might even blow it off, be like, "Oh, you're just into Harry Potter. You get over Harry Potter," or something. That's what I would do.
Well, I assume that she's big enough that she's making a living off of Twitch, right? Or was?
Yeah.
So how is she going to make a living now? She's going to have to go out in the real world and meet real people, a problem she already has.
Yep.
A tough spot to be in.
Yep.
Well, I guess we should probably go over the topics we have tonight. I should have actually included that as a topic, but whatever. The three we have on the menu for tonight is Lightfooted is the first one. That's about Lori Lightfoot, the Chicago mayor. They just had
her name is Beetlejuice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty strange renderings of her with filters and stuff like that. That makes her look a lot more like Beetlejuice than she already does. But there was a mayoral race, and she lost. She not only did she not come in first, she didn't come in second either. She came in third. Kind of humiliating. And of course she blames it on race. Because she's black. Because she won and then became black. That's why that happened that way. Second topic is pay your loans. That's kind of news, but kind of not. It's more like speculation. SCOTUS Justice Roberts is, a lot of people are saying that he's not going to allow this to happen. Technically, the government isn't supposed to be able to do this. Biden can't just say, well, you don't have debt anymore, problem solved. Supposedly he can't do this. But a lot of people are speculating that Roberts is going to make sure it doesn't happen. So
okay.
That's the other side of the coin. And then finally, Gretarested is Greta Thunberg had nothing to do a couple nights ago, so she decided to get herself arrested. I put a little quick tweet out about this discussion between her and her manager. You know, her
Yeah,
manager,
I saw that.
you saw that? Her manager says, "Hey, you know, you're not really popular on social media lately. You haven't really done anything." And Greta says, "Well, what should we do?" And the manager says, "Well, why don't you get arrested? We haven't done that in a while." And Greta says, "Perfect. Call the cops. Call the media, and we'll meet and get arrested for a change. It'll be fun." So that's kind of what I feel like is happening here, because every time she seems to fall out of the popular eye of the public, something like this happens. This is the third time now she's been arrested.
Yeah.
So, and all the videos that I've seen so far are her standing around talking to cops, taking pictures, then them arresting and walking her away. It's all set up. It's all set up.
Publicity stunt.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So those are the three topics. We probably should say hello to chat. We have a very active chat tonight. I don't know if you guys have noticed. There's a lot of people in chat.
That kind of stuff, like I get that she's doing that, but it absolutely enrages me because, like, for one, I want to accuse her father of being a theater guy, because he absolutely is. But to do what she's doing, she would have to somehow get the cops so enamored with her that they're willing to not do their job, or they're actors, you know? Because, like, you can't just use a police uniform, you know?
Well, I mean, somebody could call in and say so-and-so is going to cause a problem, and the police show up. And she says, I'm just here. And they talk to her for a few minutes, and then she does something to cause a problem, and they arrest her. I mean, she could make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, so, but as far as chat, who do we have in chat? Hey, tall person, cynics in chat. Scrolling. Really show people. OG Costin's in chat. Hello. Keyred M. Hi, sweetie.
Over on the Rumble, Cannibalistic Wizard is chatting away. So he says, Jen is a blessing. And then he says, and then the cops ran a train on her, clarifying those cops ran a train on her like that Tennessee cop had run on her. So that's all Cannibalistic Wizard over on Rumble.
I have to figure out how to get Rumble chat pulled into OBS. Rumble's a little funny. If you want to grab something from YouTube, the chat has its own URL, like a website.
Right.
So you just grab the URL, plug it in, you're all done.
Chat out and there's a URL you can copy.
Right. In Rumble, that doesn't exist. It's all one piece. The video and the text is all one piece, and the text is actually not really text. And if you try to grab the URL to grab the entire screen, and then like grab a part of the screen and say, I want to take this part out and put it in, it only gives you the video. It doesn't give you the chat. So I've gone on the Rumble web forums, and I've asked people, and everyone's just like, I don't know. So I'm going to keep working on it, but for now, I can't figure out how to get Rumble chat into OBS. Eventually, I'll get it in, and what I plan on doing is having YouTube chat and Rumble chat on the same screen on both streams. So no matter where you look, you'll be able to see what the other half is saying.
That'd be good if you can pull that off.
I'm going to try. So we'll see. Also, Mr. Adam, our Sunday streamer, is here. Hello. And I saw Johnny was in chat. Mash is in chat. Hi, Mash.
Yeah.
And is that everybody? Oh, Assassination Gray is in chat. And Spud Gun's in chat. Yeah, so we've got a lot of people in chat tonight. Cool. Glad you guys could stop by. We love our chatters.
Yeah.
Very, very active tonight.
And Spud asks, can't you take the web element?
Yeah, I'd probably have to figure out how to do that, because the way they do it in Rumble, it's not plain vanilla. There's a lot of code that they throw in to their chat. You can't just say grab this. It's all integrated in with code, so you'd have to figure a way of trying to pull the code out so you only show the text. I don't know. I will figure out a way. believe me, I have been working on it. I'm working on several different problems at the same time. That's what's causing all the issues. So there's a problem with Windows 11, the current version, the most updated version of Windows 11, and DaVinci Resolve. When I'm doing work and editing things, I edit in 5.1 sound. Most people just use stereo, but I use 5.1 because most of the stuff I'm editing is in 5.1. And there was an update to Windows somewhere along the line. I haven't figured out where it is, but somewhere along the line there was a change to Windows 11, and when you export the file from DaVinci Resolve, it takes the bit rate of the exported file, which I usually run at 512, and it knocks it down to 128. And I don't know if you've ever listened to the difference between a 512 audio stream and a 128 audio stream. 128 is fucking awful. and no matter what you set it for, you can set it for 300, you can set it for 500, you can set it for the original 1500 of the incoming file. Doesn't matter. It sends it out at 128. And that's unacceptable for me. So I'm on the DaVinci Resolve forums trying to figure that out. So I got a lot of stuff on my plate that I'm trying to take care of, but I will figure a way of getting chat. It's probably going to be a little bit cumbersome, but I'll figure out a way of getting it done. So it's just a matter of time. The Rumble side is a little bit different. I don't know if anybody's besides Cannibalistic Wizards out there.
Tall Person is there as well, remember?
Excellent. Yeah, Tall Person's there, right? But the background is different on the stream. The Terry's in the middle in YouTube. Jen's in the middle on Rumble, and in the top right corner where it says "Means of the Zoo," the Wednesday show on the Rumble side, it changes and says "Live on Rumble," whereas on the YouTube side it says "Hammer Live Streams." So I'm going to differentiate them even more. Chat is the next thing I have planned to change. Chat will look different on Rumble. So I have things I want to do, but so far this process of running 2 streams at the same time from my house, because we're not going through Restream. You couldn't do what I'm doing if you went through Restream. I'm doing all this straight from my house. So because it seems to work, although it's a little quirky, it seems to work pretty well on the host side. When you play this stuff on YouTube and Rumble, it appears normal. So it's just a matter of getting more differentiation. The audio is always going to be the same, but I want to change the video around a lot. I was thinking about putting everyone's icons across the bottom instead of along the left-hand side. So I have all kinds of ideas. Things are going to change. But anyway.
Always good to have something to focus on to keep you keep you active.
I have to solve the problems first. Once I get the problem solved, I'll put more focus on making them look different. I want them to be differentiated. So we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, I'm aware that Rumble doesn't want to cooperate, but we'll get it fixed.
So someone named Roundhammer117 says, "I'm not assassinating anyone here either." So I'm guessing that's Assassin of the Grey, because he was saying that in the YouTube chat that he doesn't work for free. So there's no assassinations going on.
I need to figure out. I have so many screens open. I have the YouTube screen open, the Rumble screen open. I have OBS YouTube. I have OBS Rumble, and I have StreamYard. So I have 5 screens going at the same time. And I'm about to open another one because I want to see Rumble chat with my own eyes.
Well, I'm just switching between the 2 tabs periodically. Just checking in on Rumble to see if anyone's saying anything.
Well,
right, let's see if I can get on Rumble and say something in chat. Oh, it's the colors are different on Rumble. The Cannibalistic is like a pink color on my screen. Is it the same for you? Tall person is blue. Yeah, and it's like a mauve. Yeah. I don't want to say pink. I mean, it sounds manly. It's mauve.
Tall person is more purple, and because Roundhammer is blue, and then Tall Person is, I guess, kind of purplish just above him.
Yeah, I'm green. Does everybody get their own color or something?
I guess, because I actually had to look close because I was going to say that you were green, but then I thought, hang on, is that green? because of my eyes. I'm colorblind.
Yeah,
Hang on.
it looks kind of mint to me. It's on the monitor furthest from me, so it's hard to see, but it looks kind of like a somewhere between olive drab and a dull mint kind of color. So everybody gets their own color. That's kind of cool. It look if I can get that into OBS, that's gonna look really wild. So who's Round Hammer 117? He is pink. Who is that Assassin? Round Hammer?
I'm assuming it is, but he's pointing out that I don't have any proof of that.
Hails blue like my balls. You guys, that's the great thing about running on Rumbles. You can say whatever the hell you want over there, man.
For some reason, it's not letting me chat. I'm hitting enter. It's not sending my message, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's weird.
Oh, I think I know. I think I know what it is. I think I was selecting the payment option.
Oh, don't do that.
No, I think I clicked it by mistake because it was trying to. There's no credit card details, so it's not going to pay anything. But I was like, why isn't it sending? And I realized, oh, it's trying to find my credit card details to process the Rumble rant. That's why it wasn't going through.
Your name's different over there too, Terry Zolt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry Zolt is basically my internet name. The only reason it's my real name on YouTube is because, what was it, Google Plus, they needed the real name. So I was like, oh, fine, you can have it.
Yeah. Yeah. I never created an account on Google Plus. It came in left before I got a chance to get on it. Not that I really had a need for it, but I never did.
Yeah.
You're the same color as me, Terry. You're like a green.
Yeah, it looks like we are the same color.
Yeah. Anyway, so which topic do we want to cover?
I mean,
unless you guys got something else you want to talk about.
I think we kind of covered Greta indirectly. We kind of take our feelings on the subject.
To be honest, if what makes her twitch is ignoring her, giving her only 2 minutes is probably what she's worth.
So what's the pay your loans one? That's talking about you can't forgive student debt.
Yeah, that's the Roberts is I can't remember his first name, but he's one of the SCOTUS.
I don't know his first name either. I was hoping you'd tell me.
Yeah.
Over the course of the chat, I was hoping that was how I was going to learn his first name.
Chat will know. Chat's much smarter than I am. But Justice Roberts, see, I can get around it. I'll call him Justice Roberts. There was on CNN, there was a very large write-up about how they thought Justice Roberts was going to be very much against doing this because he's very letter of the law, and the law says that Biden can't do this.
Good. He shouldn't do it.
Right. He shouldn't do it, but there are ways he could do it, but I don't think SCOTUS is going to let him do it no matter what.
Good.
Because as soon as he tries to do it, all somebody has to do is file a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And then once that lawsuit exists out in the legal world, SCOTUS can just turn around, pick it up and do it if they wanted to.
And Spoken is saying John is his first name, John Roberts.
John, okay, there you go. Common name.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like he is the Chief Justice. He's the guy who really runs the SCOTUS. So he will have a lot to say if he decides that he doesn't want to allow this. I would say that most of the SCOTUS is going to fall in line. Even the people who dissent, I would imagine, would be in the minority.
Well, I hope so, because that is such a ridiculous idea that I don't know how it got any credence at all. It should just be dismissed out of hand. No, you can't just forgive that much debt on a whim.
Yeah. It is money owed to people. So
yes.
If it's owed to a bank, if you took a loan and it's owed to a bank, and SCOTUS says, or the president says, well, we're just going to forgive it. Does that mean that they're going to take our tax money and pay off the loan, or are they just going to say, well, you're not going to get the money, screw you? I'm not sure which way they're going to go, but both ways are wrong.
I think they're going to take the taxpayer money and pay off the loans, because they're always going to side with the organizations over the individuals. So they're not going to tell the universities that, fuck you, you don't get any money. They're going to be like, well, the money is owed. Let's just take it from those people that we don't care about. What are they called? Oh yeah, Americans. Yeah. Take it from them. And give it to the universities.
Yeah, so that's fine with me. I think it's the right decision. I think it's the legal decision. So yeah, I agree. But Roberts can be flaky too. He's come down on some weird stuff before. Like I think the baker guy who couldn't bake a gay cake.
I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Roberts had the vote on that, and he won that time. But then somebody else sued him because they won't let this guy alone. And I think the second time it happened, SCOTUS didn't hear the case. So,
well, I don't know the specifics, but from what I heard, yes, he won, but he won in such a specific way that it didn't really set a precedent going forward. It was like this very unique situation now has a precedent that will never really realistically come up again.
Right.
Like,
and Roberts wrote that.
Such a narrow sort of condition.
Yeah, Roberts wrote that decision. That's why I said he does quirky, weird things from time to time. Instead of addressing the problem and solving it and having it be done, he put it in a position where it could be called again and again and again and again, so.
Yeah.
So even though the guy won, the law lost. It's kind of a weird way to put it, but
that's basically what I heard. Yeah, is that even though yes, he did win the lawsuit, the way the decision was written meant that no meaningful precedent was set.
Well, we'll see what happens. Right now it's just conjecture, but it seems like he's leaning towards not allowing Biden to do it, which is perfect because Biden's already given away enough of my tax money,
No, but you don't understand. It went to the Ukraine. They need that money, Hammer.
Yeah.
Can I throw in a little snugget so I don't forget it?
What's a snugget?
Well,
don't worry.
It's a thing that might be a rumor, but it might also be true. But there's this fellow who might be from your neck of the woods, Hammer, called John Fetterman, and they're claiming he's legitimately brain dead. Like,
oh really?
Yeah.
Last time I heard, he went in because he was depressed.
Yeah.
I thought he had a stroke, and that's why he was brain dead. Like another stroke. I mean, obviously he's had them before.
I didn't hear about that. Where'd you hear that, Jen? On Twitter?
I've heard it a couple times. It was on Twitter. I saw it flash up with. I didn't watch the video, but it was quartering. I've got notifications from him, so it flashed up as his name tag, and then I can't remember who it was, but like I think it might have been an Andy No or something. But yeah, they were talking about him being effectively brain dead, and then also his wife has run away to Canada. She's
Cannibalistic Wizard said Snugget is a slutty nugget. So now you know.
Sorry, I didn't know where to go with that one, but it was like this is one of those stories where like I'm waiting for like a proper article to confirm that. I think the Dems might have said something too, but I just can't. Yeah, it's been a couple of people who were talking about it, so. Yeah, and his wife went on vacation with the kids. It's just one of those weird, convenient out of town things. That's kind of sketchy.
It's very normal for nepotism to be the next step. If he does kick the bucket, she will probably take over his job. That's common in the States.
Well, as Tall Person points out, his wife went on a vacation with the kids.
He seems upset.
Like, yeah. Oh dear, my husband is in hospital. We're going to Hawaii.
Yeah. it is suspicious, if nothing else. Why would she do that?
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't
Well,
make any sense.
Matt Walsh had a poll on Twitter saying who is the worst wife of the year, and it was like Giselle Fetterman. I can't remember who the other candidates were, but Amber Heard and oh, it's gone. But there were like four of them, and he said, "Okay, after hearing this, we need a new poll because Giselle Fetterman needs to win this time."
Matt Walsh has been in the news lately, boy. He's lighting a lot of fires out there.
I like Matt. I didn't used to, but he's definitely grown on me. I've definitely started liking his work a lot more recently.
He's gotten very angry.
He I think he is, and I do understand his view. He's coming more from the view of the father.
Yep.
And he is coming from the view of, yeah, I think he can envision his daughters going to a school, going into a bathroom, having some kid who self-identifies as a woman go in, and it doesn't matter if they don't sexually assault, just beating them up would be enough for dad to be like, fuck the hell, no.
Well, he spells it out explicitly because you know how he did that whole thing against Dylan Mulvaney.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
He did a reply to all the criticism saying that he was too mean, and he spells out and he says, "Look, they're coming for my kids and your kids. Of course, I'm angry about this." And it's like he's not pulling his punches. He's not hiding the ball. He's like, "No, I'm doing this to protect my children," because he's got 6 of them. He's like, "I don't want my kids growing up in a world where this kind of thing is just allowed. He's got to fight against it." So no, I've got a lot of respect for him for
I also
putting in
think
that work.
I also think he's aware of the fact that he's already on the platform where he's putting himself out there. Like, it's not like, and yeah, I'm going to throw out another person who put themselves out there, Scott Adams. I can't agree with all of what he said, but I can understand where he was coming from, because there are times where, yeah, I've encountered the odd person who's black who I was like, yeah, you're kind of racist as shit. And I can't call you out for it because, well, there's this system of oppression, blah, 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 blah. And I know it's bullshit.
Of course,
I know it's bullshit. I have black friends. I have plenty of friends who don't look like me. I actually have this theory that I prefer people that I have commonalities with that are more verbal or more like common interests. It's not color blindness. I'm aware of the fact that peeps don't look like me. I don't doubt they use different suntan lotion than me. I don't know. I've never had that conversation, but I don't doubt they're different from me. I don't ask them what vitamins they take because it's none of my business, but I don't doubt they take different vitamins from me too.
Yeah, I think people misrepresent the whole colorblind thing. Like, it's not saying, like, when you say I don't see color, they don't mean I am literally unable to tell whether a person is black, white, Asian, or whatever. Like, obviously you can tell by looking. What they mean is that they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, if I say I'm colorblind in the figurative sense, then I'm saying that, okay, yes, I can physically detect that Satsu and Pat are black men, but I don't treat them any differently because of that. They're just people to me.
And the idea that, like, I can't acknowledge that your skin tone might mean that at some point in your life you've had someone treat you bad because you're a person of color. Well, first of all, I'm not going to assume that right away, because that alone would be kind of racist. Also, I'm not going to question that because sometimes the person that I'm talking to is upset about everything. It's like walking on eggshells around somebody who's offended at everything. I'm not going to hang out with that person. It's not a black person thing. It's a I don't know how to talk to you kind of thing because everything upsets you. So I'm going to hang out with the other person of color who's not like that.
Like, I wouldn't want to be friends with someone that was offended by everything either. I just, no, you go over there, I'll stay over here. We don't need to talk.
Or the worst ones, and I know these ones came from TikTok. I would never hang out with somebody like the people I've seen on TikTok, because what they're talking about is, well, I live in a system of oppression and therefore I'm allowed to be abusive to you. And then I'm going to gaslight you about why it's okay for me to be abusive to you, because we live in white supremacy and therefore you deserve it. Nobody deserves to be abused verbally or treated like, no matter what you do, you're never going to do enough. You're never really going to fix the problem. And you're always going to need to be treated like that. I believe there's this guy called Thomas Sowell, who I know I've been reading a lot of him, and I don't mind. But that's called slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sowell is a pretty well-known conservative black man. And he's very, very, very smart.
I just like that he's black and his last name is Soul. That just seems perfect.
It's Sowell is his name. Soul.
I know, but it's still, people say soul.
Yeah.
So, well, he's a black man who's got soul in his name.
It's one of those things where I regret not finding his work sooner. It's like when you meet Jordan Peterson for the first time. Yeah, you're like, you know what? I'm going to spam a bunch of your stuff because I don't read all of anybody's things, because sometimes people have, it's like one piece for some people. You're going to start wanting to be like, oh, I'm going to be on this for too long. But I'm enjoying what I'm learning from him because he's very educated. He's very good at explaining what he's saying. I'm learning so much from him that I honestly wish I'd had him as a teacher. It's not a colored thing. Sometimes it's just people connect better with other people. And some people are just wanting to hate for the sake of hate. And I think some people are passing it down. And I know this is one of those fights where some of it, I'm just going to stay the hell out of it. I agree with that part of what Mr. Adams was saying. I'll hang out with the black people who don't treat me like shit. That's what I'm going to do.
That's probably a good idea. Did you see that there was that like man on the street interview thing where they're like, what are white people good at? And like all the things that the people said were insulting. Like they're better at oppression. They're better at stealing the black man's ideas. Like there's no one said anything legitimately positive. They're just
they didn't include that in the video, one or the other.
Yeah, but it's just funny that like, what are white people good at? And it's all hatred.
And if it was the other way around, that would have been, on the news or something,
And that's such a fucking lie. I'm sorry. Like some of the first black people that I admired when I was a kid, and admittedly, I'm shamelessly going to call on Michael Jackson, because I was confused a lot of the time. I didn't realize, because I knew his age, but at the same time, everyone kept playing the Jackson 5. So I thought he was the cutest kid ever when he was little.
The best black man ever was James Avery, and that was because he was both Uncle Phil and Shredder.
Right?
that alone makes him the best black man ever.
There's plenty of times where I thought a person who didn't look like me was attractive, not just for their looks, but for who they were, you know?
But I mean, I watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air every day.
Yes.
And like, I'm not black.
No. You know what? I didn't have a problem with understanding where they were coming from. Like, I am still human. I know I don't look the same as other people, and maybe I'm a ghost. There is a thing in certain tribes where they think we're ghosts, right? Really remote tribes think we're ghosts. I want to go see one.
Like, the episode of The Fresh Prince where Will meets his father, and then his father abandons him again, and he has that whole sort of like, why don't he want me? And then like Uncle Phil has to console him. Like, that spoke to me. That like I could relate to Will's experience, even though I had a good relationship with my father and was never abandoned. I could empathize. It was well written, and I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't need to look like the people on TV to relate to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Spudgun says in chat, James Earl Jones is awesome. Did you know?
I mean, I suppose.
Yeah. Did you know that when he was growing up, he had a really bad stutter?
Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah. And then became famous for his voice. Isn't that like irony?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
So I know, obviously, he was Darth Vader. He was Mufasa. I think he did other things, but those are like the two that I know, James. Those are the two I know him from.
Scribe's favorite movie. What is Scribe's favorite movie?
The Hunt for Red October.
Right, and James Earl Jones was in that movie.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
Of course, you haven't seen it. They're firing a torpedo at another ship, and they're not. They're supposed to make the people on the surface think that it hit the ship.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't really hit the ship. James Earl Jones is like an FBI agent, and the guy who fires the missile is counting down its distance to the ship that they're shooting at. And James Earl Jones reaches down and pushes a red button, and it destroys the missile. And James Earl Jones says to the guy, "That missile did not self-destruct. You heard it hit the outside of the ship, and I was never here." And I obviously I can't say it the same way that James Earl Jones does. I don't have the voice, but it was such a great line said by him. Anybody else said that line, it would be no impact. The way he said it and his voice made it like, wow.
I think he was also in Conan the Barbarian, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was the priest who told the young girl, "Come on down," and she just jumped to her death. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it sounds like James Earl Jones. He can be second best, but James Avery's still.
But no, there's a lot of black people that I looked up to, and I know these are celebrities. It's not everybody, but I'm sorry, the U.S. population, the black community is still relatively small. It's still huge in comparison to the U.S. You probably, in comparison to Canada, I meant to say. I always go backwards when I talk, 14, but honestly, they're probably
14% here.
Yeah, but like if you, I don't know what that is in like total numbers, but like Canada is like what 38 million? Yeah, you probably have more black people than there are Canadians.
We're 367 million people in the United States.
Yeah, so
and
pretty
black
close
people are 14% of that. So what, a quarter is 25%, so it's like half of a quarter. 385, half, 160.
Not quite, but close.
It's got to be what, 70 million people maybe, or something like that. I'm just making a wild guess. Math is not my strong point, but that's a significant amount of people. I mean, that's like everybody who lives in Saskatchewan.
Yeah. No, not even. Like I said, 38 million. That's all of Canada. It's like 5 million in Saskatchewan.
Apparently, it's my Twitter anniversary, and I just got a notification telling me that it.
Oh, how nice! What's your number?
13 years now.
13! Holy crap! You were on Twitter long before I was.
Well, I didn't use it until I started like watching Monkey's live streams. So
you signed up, but never used it.
I signed up because there was an online game that needed a Twitter account to play. I was like, sure, I'll sign up, and you can spam whatever promotional messages you want on this meaningless Twitter account.
Right.
And then, maybe just under 10 years later, I started watching Monkey, and he was on Twitter, and so were all the friends I was making in his chat. So it's like, okay, well, I've got the account. I might as well start actually using it now. So
you're the highest number I've ever heard.
Active for like 5 years, but it's 13 years old.
Yeah, you're the highest number I've ever heard. I never heard 13 before. I think the highest I know of was like 9. So you're significantly. I think I'm at like 6 or something like that. I'm just a puppy.
Yeah, well, I think 6 years would be roughly how long my account has actually been active. Like I've actually been using it. But yeah, I mean, if you count all the spam messages that the game dumped on my account as, part of the price of being able to play it, then yeah, 13 years.
I guess the game's old enough now that you're not getting spam from that game anymore, right?
No. What it was you had X number of turns each day, but you could share a message on Twitter to refill it once a day. So I'm not getting spam, but like I would spam this blank Twitter with these messages just to refill my turns for the day.
Oh, gotcha. I see.
So if you go back 13 years to my very, very first tweets, they're all going to be related to Echo Bazaar, which is what the name of the game was. And they're all going to be completely meaningless because None of them will make any sense unless you also play the game and know what they're referring to.
Well, Jen, you're not really a big Twitter person, but how long have you had your account? Do you know?
I probably, so I'm not a big Twitter person, but I probably had it since 2015 because that's when everything kind of blew up in terms of
Seven
not just
years.
our,
That's longer than me.
yeah. So part of it had to do with everything kind of blew up in that at that time. It was just both politics. We voted in Trudeau. I'd been going through probably the worst time with a job because they franchised and the owners sucked. But I remember at that time, everyone kind of joined Minds and, people were kind of going on to the YouTubes, and I wasn't available to do that, but I was kind of watching everybody at the time and wishing I had time to do my own, but I didn't until I did. And then I had too much time. And I joined Twitter just because it was a free way that I could at least tweet something out, at least show support to somebody. That whole sharing thing that, we always ask for, you don't have to, but I'm just saying I've always kind of done that.
Did you notice that I shared out the show tonight? You notice that?
Yes, I think I liked.
I never do that. I don't share up my own show. But I was just I had everything set up. I had everything set up ahead of time, and I was like, well, what else can I do? Well, I'll just share out the show because I never do that. So
I usually don't share streams that I'm on, except when I can make some sort of joke about it. Like when Frosted shares the corner, I can usually make a joke about,
and Jack, you
run away, don't watch it, it's terrible, kind of thing.
Yeah,
usually I don't bother. I'll like other people sharing the streams, but I'm usually not going to share my own stuff.
That's the other thing too. That was the era when I joined Discord. Oh God. And I have been on Discord for that long, and I don't mind, but at the same time, you aren't missing much because it's just a different platform. The only thing that it offers is it is a little bit easier to just talk to people while you're doing other things. Yeah. Like, if you were playing your own game and just wanted to chat with people, go ahead. Anyone.
I forgot to check in on Rumble, and Cannibalistic Wizard has quite a good comment. He says, Fetterman is bad at strokes. I have a stroke and I have a happy ending. He has a stroke and he turns into Biden.
I mean, I do feel bad that he's, to the part of his family that probably didn't run away to Canada. I do feel a little bit bad because, he's somebody who's passed away. I shouldn't laugh at somebody's death, but it's one of those things where, like, I think the Dems were going to pull out, like, we're going to hide this for a little bit because it 50-50s them. And it's always, they always pick politics before people. And I understand that's how it works. It always has. I can throw shade at them, but like you look at even medieval times, in medieval times, it was worse. It was worse.
Yeah.
But it's still gross. Like I still am like idealistic and hoping that maybe someday we could be a little better, but I don't think it'll be our generation. It's not going to be the next one either, or the one after, but maybe someday we could be a little less gross.
I suppose.
Oh, can we pick on another politician?
Sure. Have at it.
Because she's the last one in your list anyway, right?
Lightfooted, yeah.
Lightfooted, yeah. She I know she's got 2 more months. So, like, with all due shade, lady, you've got 2 more months to at least try to make yourself look good on the way out, because
not going to happen.
Yeah, you're not going to do it. But all the same, I want to know how long it takes for Chicago to build up a really good party, because you probably broke them a little bit in terms of taxes, I'm sure. Because I don't know Dems, but my understanding with Dems is they really like taxes. But the parts of Chicago that I don't know if the new guys can, or the person, I don't know who the new person is. Hopefully they'll work out for you. At least you don't have Beetlejuice anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe your crime rates can go down a little. Hopefully.
Well, the Democrats are still going to be in charge, right? But it's just a different Democrat.
Yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure.
Because Chicago is like one of the bluest cities around.
I think what they need to do is have Batman take the Meryl position so that you get one Michael Keaton role replaced with another. I think that's a fair way to do this.
But she's already made the mistake on the way out because she's blaming racism as the
Yes.
reason why she lost, which is strange because she was black when she won.
Yes.
How could she have won in the first place if racism was a problem?
But apparently it got worse.
Yeah, that's actually a quote from Ben Shapiro. He's like, "Are we more racist now than we were in the 1960s? And how did that happen?" That's right out of one of his college tour things. It's like,
Right.
So
I haven't watched Ben in a long time.
it seems like
I don't even know why. It's not like I stopped liking his stuff. It's just some reason I stopped watching it.
he's not really doing that many tours of whatchamacallits now.
He's not doing the college tours anymore. No.
Well, not
I-
he
I-
is, but just not as often. Yeah.
I know why I stopped following him, and it's not because I don't think he's still smart or that he doesn't still have points. He does. I respect them when I hear them. But the guy is one of those types who, when you do offer him valid criticism, there's a lot of times where he genuinely flakes out. And he never really comes back to address those. And it's like, listen, you can flake out in an argument. Lots of people do. Debates are like that. Sometimes you get heated or, but
I would disagree because he's got a page on his website, everything I've said that was wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just like this is all the stupid shit I've said over the last 20 years or however long he's been in politics.
Yeah.
With do I retract it or was I misquoted or no, like he goes through everything that people have taken issue with him for saying and he clarifies or apologizes or withdraws the statement.
Okay. Well, I haven't been on his site because you have to pay for that.
No,
Sorry.
it's a free article.
Not the Daily Wire site, his site, benshapiro.com. But
yeah, no,
the only time ever get Terry.
No, he is very good at addressing criticism. It's possible that it's just in a place that you haven't seen, but no, he does take it on board.
Only time I've ever seen him flake out, he did an interview with a British interviewer, an older guy.
Yes. Andrew Neil, I think his name is.
Yeah, I don't remember what the name was. It could very well be. But Ben was told, he was prepped ahead of time that this guy was going to be friendly.
Yeah.
And this guy definitely was not friendly. And he
started being a leftist. And then the guy was like, if you knew who you were talking to, you would not be saying that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the only time I've ever seen him freak out. And he, a couple days later on Daily Wire said, I just wasn't prepared for what he was saying. I just didn't. I made the assumption that it would be an easy thing, and it didn't. He started accusing me of stuff, and I didn't have an answer, and I just didn't react well. So
no, he admitted fault. He was like, "No, I went in underprepared. I won't make that mistake again." And even on Twitter, he's like, "So this is what it's like to be on the other side of these things." It's like Andrew Neil owns Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what it's like to be on the other side.
See, I can appreciate that. I didn't know that he had that out there because I thought that was under a paywall. But to be fair, a lot of the stuff that I get do come from people that don't follow up on stuff. So or the fact that a lot of the people that I got my stuff from haven't been doing it in the last 2 years, and I miss them very much because they used to cover all this crap. I miss Ranting Monkey and Scribe and Satsu, and I don't even I'm going to be fair. I didn't care as much for SDA because I wasn't really there for the SDA years. So it's nothing personal. I just wasn't. And then the drama afterward, I didn't care for because Mundane Matt is a shitbag.
I think SDA kind of burnt a lot of bridges when she started accusing Reject of racism. I think that put her in a lot of people's bad books. So.
Well, for me, it was the siding with people who were okay with calling Satsu, you know what? N-word for monkey, and I was like, no.
the problem I had.
I don't remember who said it, but I do remember someone called Satsu, basically Monkey's lackey or whatever.
But I was fine with SDA because she brought something different to the show that made that show kind of what it was. And but there was one night where she got into it with Scribe, and she insulted him on air. I mean, she came after me, so it's not like I, didn't see this coming. But she called me a nitwit because I mentioned that I was MGTOW, so she called me a nitwit.
Oh, right.
On the air, so everybody heard it. But yeah, she went after Scribe. Scribe was trying to read something. She kept interrupting him or something like that. And she says, fine, I'll just read it. And she just read what Scribe was supposed to read. And it got real quiet real quick. And Monkey said, what just happened? And I like Scribe. I like Scribe a lot. He's a good guy. He's a solid dude. And when she did that, I was like, you bitch. You fucking bitch. After that, I hated her. From that point on, I was just like, no, I hate her.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to insult the audience, but like not have it be mean. Like if I make jokes about Johnny, like he knows that I'm just kidding around. I'm not actually being mean. I'm just sort of like, ha ha ha. You're an Indian. Here's a joke about blankets, kind of thing. He knows that there's no bite behind it. It's just me mucking around. Calling you a nitwit, you need to have that relationship set up where it's okay to kind of take shots at each other. Like Polly calling you a nitwit and SDA calling you a nitwit is two totally different things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
If all Polly ever did was call me a nitwit, that'd be very soft. Believe me.
Exactly.
He's got a lot,
that's my point.
But it goes both ways. It's
that's my point.
Yeah, it's a friendship. It's not. Don't tell him I said that, by the
way. No, but that's my point. The relationship between the two people dictates what you can and can't say to each other.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, she brought something different to the show. Monkey would say something outrageous, and she'd go, "Monkey," and make you laugh, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But
no, I had no problem with SDA. A lot of people hated her, but I never had a problem with her until she went after Reject.
Well, Cannibalistic Wizard says that she was just eye candy, and I'm sorry, but I don't see it.
Really.
I don't see it. She was during the show. She dropped afterwards. It was different, but during the show, she was a fatty. Nothing against women who have a little extra weight, but she was beyond a little extra weight.
Well,
she was June from that what was that show? The Honey Boo Boo.
Oh, right. No, not only that. I just never found her attractive. She got
a very round face.
I mean, she was never ugly. She was just not attractive to me. She was just like, okay, whatever. She's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean it to be all on that, but I don't have any feelings outside of like stuff that I heard from other people, and even then I leave that kind of stuff to the side. But it was just
no, there's one other thing that she did that I thought made me respect her a lot less, which was when she accepted the money to sing the Meatloaf song and then never did it. And then didn't even refund the money. She just gave everyone a copy of her book.
Wow.
That one bothered me as well.
Okay, that part I did admit I did hold a little bit of a thing for, because I was like, I know you're trying to push your book. I understand that, and I even respect that Monkey was respecting your grift, because he's the kind of dude to promote that kind of thing. But
she did a lot of bad things to other people. Her and Weibo, her and Eve. There's a lot of things where she just screwed people over. So, but it's in the past. She's out of our circle. She's out of our life. We don't have to worry about her.
Yeah.
Satsu was much better for this. Satsu was much better
until someone mentions it. So yeah.
Yeah, Satsu was much better for the stream anyway. So.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Satsu brought a baby to the stream, and
Oh my
that
God.
brought
Hey, Leah?
magic. That brought absolute magic for many people.
I
not
hate.
just that. Just his personality is a better fit for
Yeah.
Monkey and Scribe than SDA
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
he's I'm not really big into children, if anybody couldn't already tell that to be true. But his daughter is just, she's so fucking adorable. She's just so adorable. I children don't get to me, they just don't get to me.
Yeah.
But his daughter is just, the way she grabbed the brim of his hat while he's trying to talk, it's like that was just, it was so cute and so entertaining. It's just awesome.
Yeah. It was, and I know I've said this a couple times. I've said it on Pat's multiple times, but the last time I managed to catch a full stream with Satsu, Monkey was there for it. It was the luck of the draw, because this is the first time she really did it. Satsu'd been trying to coach her to say hello to Monkey, and she said it 4 times in conjuncture, and she was just, hello, Monkey, and super excited and just like the happiest little girl. And like, Monkey's in the chat. I'm breaking here. Oh my god, just happiest little. He's such a grandpa.
Yeah.
And she's got to be a not a grandkid, but what is it called? Godchild.
I guess, yeah.
By default, just yeah. That's one of the things that brought me onto wanting to stream more, was being part of that community, like. Big.
The Assassin of the Grey says the curse of all shows introduce a baby. The show gets cancelled soon after. Yeah. Like that. There's a difference between when a sitcom does it and when a host of a live stream just happens to have a baby.
Yeah.
Like when a sitcom does it, it's usually a desperate measure to grab an audience because ratings are down, and it does nothing to save the show. The show was already dying, and then this act of desperation just kind of cemented it. Satsu just happened to be having a baby at the time that he was hosting a live stream. Totally different situation.
Well, in a way, it was a good thing for Satsu, because look what he's moved on to.
Well, it's
Oishi, right? The spiced flour company that he put together.
Yeah.
He's a chef now. Like he went through school and everything. I mean, getting out of the show ended as it was going to end. Nobody's at fault or anything like that. No. Him being on the show would certainly keep him from doing other things. One of those things being pursuing a career as a chef. And now look where he's at. He's got his own company and he's making product, and it's awesome. It's a success story. Leaving the show actually was good for him.
And legitimately, I was just bringing this up because I miss them. Like, it's not like I don't have the opportunity. And I have the opportunity to see them. Like, I watch Scribe as often as I can. I watch Satsu whenever he posts stuff, which is not often, but he tries.
Scribe runs his show when I'm asleep. I never get a chance to watch it live. I only watch it afterwards, Yeah. It's TEDx stuff.
My problem with Scribe's streams is that those TEDx talks just give me a headache. It's just like they're so mind-numbingly stupid. I don't know how he puts up with it for 2 hours.
I just laugh at it.
You know what I do? I play it in the background a little bit low. No offense to Scribe. I do like his voice, so it's kind of like Scribe ASMR. And then I come back to the end of the stream when I can tell that it's over, and then I watch to see what the bingo's gonna be. And then I just make bets on what the bingo's gonna be.
You're a cheater.
Absolutely. But I want to show support, and I do like Scribe, and I do like the sound of his voice. I can get a gist of what the conversation is about for the most part, but I'm like, I can tell what this is about.
I like his streams. It just seems that every time he runs a stream, I'm sleeping, especially the Sunday stream at 11 o'clock in the morning. Like, no fucking way am I awake at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. I'm definitely sleeping in on Sunday, so.
I never sleep in, so I'm immune to such things. But no, I just get frustrated with the subject matter more than anything else.
Yeah, well, Scribe's a very entertaining guy too. His whole intro, like coronavirus on the moon.
He makes it more tolerable. Like for when I do focus in, like the odd time where I'm like, yeah, I really have nothing else to focus on. i- He does make it more tolerable.
Yeah.
It's just the thing with the topics is like certain books, you don't need to read the book. You really read the back of it where they've kind of covered what the book is about. You,
Yeah.
you read a couple of the chapter headlines, and yeah, you know what the book is about. I know that seems not true, but sometimes it is.
Everybody I watch are people whose voices I like. I like
Mhm.
Scribe's voice. I like Monkey's voice. I like Jack's voice. I like
Mhm.
Undoom's voice. I like
Mhm.
I like Bering's voice. All their voices are all different, but I like them all, and that's the reason why I listen to them. There are people that I listen to that I don't even like their content, but I like their voice. There's a girl. I think I've mentioned her before. Her channel is called Dan Fan. Phan, I think is how it's DANPHAN, whatever. She talks about comic books. I have no interest in what she's talking about at all. She does young romance, Marvel comics. Yeah, I'm not. I have no interest in that whatsoever. But she's fun to listen to. She's witty and she's fun. And every once in a while, she'll do a stream that doesn't have anything to do with comics. It'll be like a little political or something like that. And she also does this. She's got to be like 22 or something like that. But she looks like she's 14. But she talks like she's 22. So she'll curse and shit like that. And so like, it's kind of jarring to see that kind of coming out of somebody who looks so innocent, you know? But she'll do every once in a while, she'll do a Dan Fan's advice. I get a big kick out of that because she's so young. How could she have any real advice? But it's funny though. Her advice is actually really good. You know, it's like
a good voice is a tremendous asset for like a YouTube channel or anything like that.
Mhm.
Also, guess who's showed up in chat?
Oh, we got to end the show.
Yeah. Well, we are past the hour mark anyway, so we probably would have had to wrap up soon.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was like, what else is there to talk about?
Points to watch. That's funny, Jack.
There is some stuff going on up here, but it's a waiting matter, and also, write
it down, and we'll cover it next week.
Oh, I know what it is.
What?
Well,
what?
it's only for federal phones, but we've taken the first step towards getting rid of TikTok, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Listen, I do understand that there are a lot of people who do like TikTok. I do have friends who do like TikTok.
It's a terrible song. I don't know how anyone likes it.
I know, right? But I do think it's a bad app, not just because of the spyware. I also think a lot of the people who go on there for too long, who aren't just like, oh, I'm just doing a fun little clip. Some people go on there and end up coming out like, woo, woo, woo. Or maybe they were already and it's just hyping it up a little bit more. I don't know. But I've seen social media. I've seen social media make people go cuckoo, cuckoo, but TikTok is special at it.
Yeah, I think it's designed to do that. It is a Chinese application. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think it's deliberately trying to subvert the moral values of the West.
It's from China.
Yes.
I miss Trump sometimes.
Me too.
China.
Trump was, if nothing else, very entertaining.
He was entertaining.
Yes.
He was entertaining. Jeez, we didn't even talk about him going to Ohio, did we?
No, we should have.
That was glorious. That's man of the people shit. That's why people love him. I don't really like the guy personally, but I could see why other people love him so much because he did that shit. He went there. He brought water. He brought food. He talked to the people genuinely. That's his bailiwick. He does that. He's running 2024 if he keeps doing shit like that. You know, if he can tone down the conspiracy theory shit and just do the things like man of the people shit, he's really good at it, you know? So
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Assassin says, fun fact, TikTok is communist psyops being run on Americans. Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
No, I mean, pretty much definitely.
Yeah.
It can certainly be more insidious, but we've made it as insidious as it is because we've just lost our minds with it. It's just a platform that the funny thing is they curate it at home. So the shit that is popular here is not even really even allowed there. So yeah, it is. I think you're right. I think it is a psyop, but all right. Anything else you want to talk about before you get out of here? before Jen
Nope,
falls
nope.
asleep on us?
Nope.
No? Okay, Terry. All right, we'll get in out of here. Not a big deal.
All right.
Do my outro. Why is the music so loud? I can't turn it down anymore. If I turn it down, it turns it off. Oh well, fuck it. Thanks, Chad, as always, for hanging out with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember, the Minions are live every evening, including weekends. Most shows starting around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Host start times are linked in the description down below. We're ending because Jack is here. Stop asking me. We'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Bye, guys.